I am worthless.
Hey guys, this is Christinablackfeather here, and Rachael Vandermeer sent me some stuff from Amazon, including a kit that I had wanted for starting water kefir. And I apologize for the kitchen. I have limited storage space in case you haven't watched any of my other cooking videos. So what I got is Florida Sun Water Kefir, and I'm going to mix this according to directions. I'm going to try it all out for you guys the way they said. I'm hoping this works because when it arrived, it was really, really cold outside, like almost at 0. So these were frozen. I don't know if they're going to work or not because they are supposed to be a live culture. And you're not supposed to store them anyway. You're supposed to use them right away. So I haven't had the opportunity to use them right away. We're going to try to give it a shot. But I'm going to rinse the kefir grains in this spring water first. You see, just plain spring water. Other ingredients I have here is sugar, which any cane sugar will work. And I have unsulfured molasses, and there's also a little bit of baking soda to help give the kefir grains minerals that they need. But the sugar for sure has to dissolve. I'm doing this one-handed. This is 32 ounces of water that I've got. I divided it in half so that I could get this stuff to dissolve. How am I going to do this? One-handed. Yay! Okay, I'm trying to do this through the camera. That's probably not smart. Have to have 1 tablespoon of unsulfured molasses. And that's going to be overflowing if I don't move this. Probably should have used my stand. Would have been smart. Just for hilarity. When we did have horses, if we had to give horses any medications, we'd grind up the medications and mix them with Brer Rabbit molasses. And horses actually really got to liking molasses. We'd do a long-handled spoon, and they'd be licking the spoon off. So the smell of this is kind of really pleasant memories for me. I hate using a metal spoon in here with where there's going to be live cultures, but this has got to stir and dissolve a little bit and dissolve off the spoon. And because that wasn't exactly a tablespoon, let's toss in a little more. Now you can do this with coconut water. The first ferment is with water. Second ferment, they included a little cotton bag to put fruit pieces in. To do a second ferment. I might try it. I have some tart cherry juice. I might try it with that and see. But let's rinse these grains out and toss some of them on the floor because just why not? Really, Feather? Really, Feather? That made the cats go running. All right, so I'm just going to shake them up a little bit. You can see the water's a little yellowish in there. I figured it kind of not hurt to rinse them. After you do a couple ferments, you can let them rest in the fridge for 7 to 10 days. They dry out a little bit, and then you'd be soaking them and redoing them again. I'm still disgusted I threw some of them on the floor. So I'm gonna get, yeah, I was just doing dishes. My sink isn't exactly the cleanest. Anybody get the idea? I really don't know what I'm doing. There went another grain. I am not the greatest representation for this company, I'll tell you. Did not quite think that through. There we go. I'm getting some of it though. So this is supposed to have a completely different flavor than kombucha, because kombucha is fermented tea. And I've had a lot of luck brewing kombucha. Maybe a little too much luck brewing kombucha. At one point, I think I had 6 gallons of it sitting here. And I gave up at that point because there was just so much of it. I had nobody to give any to. There was no way I was drinking it all myself. I just put the mother out in the garden and said, forget it. And I have another starter if I really, really want to get to doing that again. But I want to see how this works out first. So their next step, let's see. Okay, and yeah, they had said 1/8 of a teaspoon of the baking soda as well. Yeah, 1/8 of a teaspoon. I was not thinking I could have opened this too. You know, I mean, there's so many things I could have done here. This is just pathetic. Really, really pathetic. I'm so sorry, guys. All right. They said just a pinch. We're going to give it a pinch. Just a little pinch. There we go. By the way, really good breads, because you're looking right at them. We have Country Hearth breakfast breads, apple cinnamon. Hubby's been liking those. They don't screw up the blood sugar too much. This one's a little harder to find, and I have a bunch in the freezer. It's a limited edition. Don't throw that in the kefir grains. Pepperidge Farm strawberry swirl. Said it's limited. Hard to find that one. Okay, so I got that. All right, and we're not adding fruit flavorings on this one. Here we go. So I'm gonna mix. I got that completely dissolved. So what we're going to do is we're going to toss these into the big jar here. And hopefully they're going to still be active after having been frozen in the mailbox. I have never tried kefir before. I don't even think I've actually had it. Got it all out of there. Look at that. But I've been wanting to try it. And I like kombucha. The only problem with homebrew is that it tends to get a little bit of an alcohol content to it. Where, let's toss a little more in there. Your store-bought kombucha, you know, they kind of take the alcohol out of it. so that they can sell it in the grocery store. But you get some homebrew going. If you follow the directions exactly the way they say, you're going to have a little bit of alcohol in there. And it can get strong depending on how long you go. So, I forgot to get a lid here. Yeah, so prepared. So what I'm going to do is cover this. And it's supposed to be allowed to ferment for a couple of days. So away from direct sunlight. And in a warmer area, which this house is warm right now. So your nutrition facts will be, I don't know what 1 portion cup is. They say 60 grams. Okay, so that's the container of the grains. All right. So the rest of it's going to be dependent on how much like sugar and fruit and stuff like that you add in here. So anyway, yeah, that's where we're sitting. I am going to go and get this covered up, and in a couple days I'll record the second half and we'll see if we can give it a taste test. All right, blessed be everybody. Have a great night. Hey, I actually managed to get the first batch of the kefir to ferment, which I wasn't sure because it had been frozen. It took about 3 days longer than it was supposed to. So right now the grains, I strained them out. This batch here is about a quarter of the first that's going to be used as a starter for the next batch. This I'm going to run through a second ferment with raspberries in the little sachet that they provided. Otherwise, this tastes actually pretty good right now. You know when it's not fermented enough, when you can still get a strong molasses flavor, and here I had used a mild molasses when I started it. So it still was pretty strong up until today. So that's done, ready to go for second batch. This will be a new batch, and this right now they have to sit for 20 minutes in spring water just to adjust their pH over again. I'll strain it back out and then take the grains and put them in here and start the whole process over. So yeah, it worked. It actually tastes pretty good too. A little milder, not as strong as kombucha, and not as vinegar tasting as kombucha can get, even from the store. Kombucha has a distinct flavor. This isn't like it. It's a little bit more like a fermented or a bubbly type fruit flavored something. So hard to describe it, but it's pretty good. So anyway, talk to you later. Okay, there we are. I am set for brewing batch number 2, which is the one with the plain kefir grains. I had soaked them for actually a half hour in the spring water there. So this one's just started. Today is the 5th of March, so I'm kind of recording that for posterity. This one I just put fresh raspberries in there, and I didn't put them in the little pouch. I had this habit out of brewing kombucha too, is I would eat the fruit that was in there, so I don't care. But yeah, these are half-gallon jars. If I ever get to brewing full gallons, I have stuff for actual brewing in the basement, and I have some bottles and got all that stuff. So because before hubby got sick, we were kind of getting ready to start brewing, and we actually have apple cider vinegar, 2 gallons of it ready to use. So yeah, so this was an interesting experiment. The berries one is going to ferment for 48 hours, and we'll see how long the second batch takes. According to the package, they said it takes a few ferments for the kefir grains to really get going, because they didn't have the minerals and everything when they got started, and plus ours were frozen solid because it was below 0 outside when they showed up. But they're working, so I'm still pretty pleased. Next clip that I add in will be me tasting tasting the berry one, and we'll see how it turns out in a couple days, and then I'll roll everything together, and you guys will get to enjoy this whole thing. All right, blessed be. Okay, guys, back with my last batch of kefir, or my first batch. First batch, of course, was the raspberry ones. I just divided these, and I actually had some already. It tastes a little like kombucha, and actually it was pretty good. I left the berries in because, like I said, I'll eat them, so I can take these to work. They're not alcohol like the kombucha can get, especially the recipe I've used. So my second batch, you can see it was really cloudy. That's because the grains, which I have soaking in the spring water again, are pretty fully active now. So they already had mineral and product built up inside. So they fermented cloudy, but this tastes really good. So I added frozen blueberries to it, and that'll sit and ferment a couple days. I'm going to rinse these a couple more times in spring water, and then you're supposed to pat them dry with a non-bleached paper towel, and then store them in the fridge 7 to 10 days. And that's what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to drink one of these a day. I drink too many random things. So I'm going to hold a few days before starting another batch. So that's why these are going to go in the fridge. So I just thought I would tell you it tastes really good. Thank you, Rachel. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, I think I might like kefir a little bit better than kombucha. So a little milder flavor, and even plain without fruit tastes really good. So just teeny hint of that molasses flavor in there. So it's pretty good, decent. Anyway, you guys have a great day. Blessed be.